Yahoo News, 21st of February 2024, China asserts the United States is approaching to slaughter Hamas in Gaza. Supported by China and Iran, Hamas established a second front in the Middle East to impede American forces' progress and divert attention away from the actual threat emanating from East Asia. After vetoing a resolution at the United Nations Security Council calling for an immediate humanitarian halt in Gaza, China has accused the United States of authorizing slaughter. The United States vetoed the resolution proposed by Algeria on Tuesday, stating that it was not the appropriate time for a general ceasefire that would allow Hamas to maintain control. Zhang Jun, the Chinese ambassador to the United Nations, reacted angrily to the action, stating, "Considering the situation on the ground, the continued passive avoidance of an immediate ceasefire is tantamount to authorizing the ongoing slaughter." The remarks constitute China's most severe criticism to date regarding U.S. policy in Gaza. Washington deemed wishful and irresponsible the Algerian resolution, which makes no connection between the liberation of hostages and a cessation of hostilities. Mr. Zhang, on the other hand, stated, "The conflict's repercussions are destabilizing the entire Middle East, thereby increasing the likelihood of a wider war. The prevention of hellfire engulfing the entire region is contingent upon the cessation of hostilities in Gaza." The United States is currently formulating its own Security Council resolution, which demands the following: the immediate initiation of a temporary truce, the removal of limitations on humanitarian assistance, and the unconditional liberation of all hostages. Despite the parties' refusal to compromise, the Biden administration has argued that it is critical to give the ongoing ceasefire negotiations between Israel and Hamas a chance. Allies have exerted tremendous pressure on Israel to abandon its planned military operation in Rafah, the southernmost city of Gaza, where an estimated 1.4 million Palestinians are seeking refuge. Prince William issues a ceasefire request. Prince William weighed in on Tuesday's calls for a ceasefire in Gaza, stating that too many Israeli and Hamas militants have been slain in the conflict. In response to Prince William's remarks, Ilan Levy, a spokesman for the Israeli government, stated, "Israelis naturally desire an early cessation of hostilities. This will be achievable following the release of the 134 hostages and the dismantling of the Hamas terror army, which has threatened to repeat the October 7 atrocities." The Prince of Wales's appeal for Hamas to release the hostages is duly acknowledged. We gratefully recollect his October 11 statement in which he denounced the terrorist assaults carried out by Hamas and reasserted Israel's prerogative to defend itself against them. In contrast to the United Kingdom's abstention in the Security Council vote on Algeria's resolution, Labour Party leader Keir Starmer has called for an immediate implementation of an enduring, permanent ceasefire. Israel remains steadfast in its defiance of a permanent truce, as Benjamin Netanyahu remains determined to accomplish his total victory objective, the absolute destruction of Hamas, and the unconditional release of all hostages. Wednesday, Israel's defense minister, Yoav Gallant, echoed Mr. Netanyahu, "Our objective is straightforward: victory. Normalization and regional integration can only be attained through triumph over Hamas." Hamas, meanwhile, maintains its steadfast stance on the conditions of an armistice agreement that encompasses the complete removal of Israeli military forces from Gaza and the restoration of the enclave. In recent weeks, relatives of Israeli detainees have taken to the streets, with many alleging that the government has abandoned its citizens in Gaza.